they led mostly white, mostly black communities, but they were elected to the House, the American House of Representatives, nonetheless. If you're talking about medicine, one example would be the blood transfusion. The blood transfusion, when you basically, if you need blood, the black person created that. Black person did that. Or successful separation of Siamese twins. A black person did that. Those are just tidbits of information. But there are many contributions. In fact, we had a scientist by the name of George Washington Carver who created dozens and dozens of ways to use a peanut. Seriously, things like that. But I can go on and on about that. But one of the things that, but if you ask me something specific, but that's one of many things. Another major contribution was music. It's also, but that in itself is a complicated history, because it's widely believed, well, it's actually factual, you've all heard of jazz, right? Mm-hmm. Louis Armstrong, well, I have some people who don't, but you all know Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis, all these other people, and Ray Charles. Many people, the history of jazz, and there's a long 3 or 4 hour documentary that's dedicated to the history of jazz. It's actually excellent. I saw it a few days ago. But basically, you have people like Elvis. You know Elvis. Jazz, people, basically many people from the black community contributed to this genre of jazz. And in the early 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, there were no videos. So you just couldn't say Louis Armstrong couldn't go to MTV and just say, I just want to air my video. It didn't work like that. And so so what did they do? They performed in nightclubs. They performed wherever they could perform. But there was only one problem. There was segregation. And so when these black artists, as brilliant and talented as they were, they had a very limited audience, which is pretty much black. Because in America, the commercial